Let's see this.
Call of Duty and trash talk
loud.
go hand in hand, but in the CDL today there was one player so hated the fans chant his name at every venue. Drazah is a player known for his trash talking, particularly against fan favourites Optic Gaming, but there's another who has taken trash talking to a completely different level. That player is Scrappy.
Now that's a neck right there on him.
Completely different level.
That's the neck right there. Look at that. Look at the girth of that neck.
Is Scrappy, possibly the best player in the league today, and once good friends with Drazah himself once upon a time. But in recent years, the friendship suddenly transformed into one of the biggest...
Wait, they used to be friends? I didn't know they used to actually be friends like that.
From insane Twitter drama to on-stage altercations, even getting the girlfriends involved. This is the story.
Nah, that was crazy. The colleague did that.
Hottest feuds in esports history.
That was crazy. The colleague did that.
Weren't always under the spotlight. For Drazah, former name Hazard in reverse, his career seemed over before it had even begun. Hailing from Alaska, this practically made it impossible to compete online due to ping. But Drazah refused to give up on his dreams. For the Modern Warfare 19 season, he moved to Seattle and worked hard to make a name for himself as an amateur.
I could listen to Tactical Rap's voice all day. Yo, Haggy's everywhere. How is Haggy even in this video too? He's in every video we've seen today.
Lucky and we clutched up, and Civ is not far better than me.
However, another curveball was thrown his way with the arrival of the pandemic in early 2020.
I see you, Zach.
This meant that all
Rose and
events
Dante
were cancelled for the foreseeable future, moving tournaments to a purely online setting. For an up-and-coming amateur with big dreams, this was devastating. But with the World Championship looming, hope was potentially in the air. Dashi, a former MVP, as well as Chino, were controversially benched by Optic Gaming Los Angeles in a move which sent shockwaves through the community. Optic, fake Optic, no Scump and Hex, were in desperate need of a top player to turn their fortunes around. And in the end, General Manager Mudog found two surprise options to fit perfectly on the roster.
The first player that we're signing is named Drazah. He's a young 19-year-old kid who's originally from Alaska but moved over to Seattle at the beginning of this year so he could compete in Modern Warfare.
Hollow and Drazah
a good story.
joins the team
From Alaska,
made it pro.
taking that risk and moving out
to show that he belonged, but the stakes could not be.
I think Drazah lived with someone.
However,
I don't know who though.
To win 3 series in a row with Drazah, and it was here where everyone got the first glimpse of his trash talk. After being teased for their poor scrim performances by Exceed, Drazah responded in the perfect way, with a tweet which still
That's legendary.
long in the memory. But Optic failed to make it to the top 4, as they suffered a heartbreaking Game 5 Round 11 defeat to the Chicago Huntsmen, with Drazah's future teammate Envoy delivering the final blow. For Drazah though, a top 6 finish was respectable. He'd proven his worth on the biggest stage, clearly a grinder and with a winning mentality that few others could surpass.
You do got to tip Drazah.
His hard work was rewarded.
Drazah is a grinder. I think he grinds the most out of anyone.
A new franchise entered the league, the Los Angeles Thieves. Thieves already had a history of winning and losing in Call of Duty, but Nadeshot's organization was back, taking over Optic Gaming Los Angeles and keeping on some of their players, including re-signing none other than Drazah to help deliver more chips. This was meant to be Drazah's breakout opportunity, but it was a season packed with controversial roster changes. Drazah was never
Look at buff JCap, man.
Packed with controversial.
JCap has a chain on. We used to watch him nerd raging in AW. Now he's a chain on. He's all buff.
Drazah was never a consistent starter on the team, with all manner of chaos emerging at the hands of JCap as the season unfolded. And while his wait for a championship continued, his mindset and consistency made him the standout player as the Vanguard season arrived. But along with the new Call of Duty title, there was a new player on the scene ready to eclipse him. Thomas Scrappy Ernst, or Ernie to some, of the Toronto Ultra Academy was making a name for himself, and not just...
Where did Venom go? I have no idea. He just disappeared.
Dominance.
You're dog shit! You are shit. Especially you. I know you.
Every fan
Especially you.
One viral clip of Scrappy trash talking his opponents. And this was far from the first time that he tried to...
They're using... Wait, I'm not getting credit?
Someone's skin. Back in 2015, at just 13 years
No
age,
credit, Breaking Point?
10 local events nearby his New Jersey home. And the rest is history. Some predicted that one day he might...
No way there's no credit. No credit on the... That's crazy, bro. Then they're using my clip with no shout out. No credit on the 12-year-old every clip. That's That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Might be the biggest trash talker in the Pro League. Scrap showcased his abilities throughout the year in challenges, but also grinded search and destroy tournaments, just like Drazah, and the pair often teamed up together. Drazah even gave Scrap a shout out in a tweet after winning a CDL match. The two became quite close friends, with Scrap aiming to follow in Drazah's footsteps and make a noise in the Pro League.
I mean, I've been playing S&D since, I don't know, I've been 12, and Crim's like, he's ass.
But even despite subbing into the league match and putting
Nah,
on
Scrap
for
did
Toronto,
fry.
Scrappy was still denied a permanent call-up to the roster, but that would not last for long. Meanwhile, his buddy Drazah was making all of the headlines, for reasons both inside and outside of the game. It all started at the Kickoff Classic 2022.
Wait, Drazah used to be a little chunky. Good for him, man. He's a good in shape now.
Where
I didn't know he used to be a little
against
chunky like that.
Atlanta FaZe, Drazah
That's good work.
controversially abused a glitch known as a one-way smoke to secure one of his kills. MVP Simp went on a rampage on Twitter against Drazah and Kenny, and just like that, Drazah was one of the more hated players in the league. But the rivalry with FaZe was far from over, because at the World Championship it was none other than FaZe versus Thieves.
Wait, he's been doing that for years. I didn't know he pointed at issues every time.
Was far from over, because at the World Championship it was none other than FaZe versus Thieves in the grand final.
Tusk on boy, he's in, he wins it, there's only one man left, and it's done! It's over! Daylight robbery!
From being a substitute to now winning the World Championship within 3 years, Drazah's rise in Call of Duty was nothing short of remarkable. But unlike other players, he'd fully embraced the role of the villain, and he made sure to let FaZe know exactly how he felt about them. The drama became so intense that both Tiny Terrors, Simp and Abizi, made their thoughts on Drazah very clear indeed, beefing on Twitter after the championship to
This was crazy.
sparking massive drama by responding to this tweet about Drazah's girlfriend.
Nah, this was
Keys.
crazy, bro.
Keys
This is
had
actually
already become
insane.
a controversial figure in the community after seemingly screaming out loud from the crowd when the other team was defusing the bomb in Search and Destroy. Drazah, though, had made it clear he was not afraid to conduct warfare by any means necessary. Heading into the 2023 season, Drazah was arguably the most hated player in the entire league. But as Scrappy finally got his shot on the starting lineup of Toronto, the potential was now there for both players to exchange some friendly blows. Thieves put together another major winning run that season, with Drazah continuing to talk smack in interviews.
So, yeah, slammed. But yeah, it feels amazing.
Drazah still had FaZe on a string on social media, with Slasher seemingly accusing him of using Addy in the middle of the season. For Scrappy, however, he had the opportunity to join Drazah on the exclusive list of world champions just 1 year after his boy accomplished that very feat. At Champs, Toronto.
Yeah, this is a good video.
their
This is a
spot in
good
the grand
video.
Final, and Scrappy felt like he had one hand on the trophy already in his rookie year. But it was in the post-game interview before the final where Scrap made the boldest decision of his career.
Yeah, we knew what they were gonna come out and do. We know how they play. Shut down Hydra. Teams from
I will not be answering that, Muzin. I will not be answering that.
just kind of play us, mix it up.
Scrap made it clear he wanted to be considered the #1 villain, not Drazah. But this decision aged like milk. Ultra got absolutely body slammed by the Bulldog and the York Subliners in the grand finals, failing to win a single map.
I'm gonna keep it cool. There was an interview, he talked his talk. I let the gameplay speak, and it was a flawless sweep. So.
As a result, many believed Scrappy would tone down the trash talking heading into 2024, but he had no such plans, and if anything, this was the season that would turn out to be the most controversial of all time.
We knew we were gonna come in and handle business. They're a pretty ass team.
But not just for Scrap, because after an intense rivalry in 2022 with FaZe, Drazah parted ways with Nadeshot's organization, declined the opportunity to join Optic and all the associated benefits to join Atlanta FaZe, the very players that constantly mocked him and his girlfriends. This showed just how important winning was to Drazah, and it's worked out so far. But in a qualifying match in the middle of that season, he was able to dispatch Scrappy's Ultra team in a comfortable 3-0 fashion.
Wait, why did they even start
Like just
beefing?
any other regular season league match, largely meaningless in the grand scheme of the season, with not all that
I actually
much
don't even
to
remember
say.
why they started
But
beefing.
Instead, this was the match that ended up kick-starting a fierce rivalry. And it all began with nothing more than a fidget spinner. After going down 2-0 against Drazah, Scrap could be seen playing with his fidget spinner and keeping things relaxed. But as Ultra went on to lose the series, some people called this behavior out, one of them being Drazah's very own girlfriend Keeks. But maybe she didn't expect Scrappy to take things personal. He put out his own tweet in retaliation. But the drama was far from over. As the tweets continued to fly, Scrappy's own girlfriend Darian decided to chime in, with Scrap insinuating that Keeks had a reputation for sliding in the DMs
yeah, this is getting
of
bad
different
now.
players.
Never mind, I found out why.
Scrap was lying, and with both sides trading blows, the community erupted as they witnessed one of the most personal rivalries in recent times. Over the coming days, Scrappy initially backed down, admitting that he'd messed up and shouldn't have taken things that far.
I f***ed up. I was good friends with Josh. I DM'd him. I said, bro, I completely understand. I f***ed up. You know, I took it too far. This is different because me and Drazah, I've known this kid for years. We play together. We're cool as f***. Or like we were cool.
Yeah, they can't be doing all that, man. That's just too much, man. Like, it shouldn't go to that point involving other people that don't concern you. Because even if you're taking personals, but it's like personal of just the person, not other people. Yeah, and that's, now I understand why this got bad. Yeah, I forgot,
but now accepting that
it makes sense.
Wanted to keep the rivalry going, he was equally down to make it happen. Drazah said rent free, and the game was on. With LAN arriving at Major 2, things went nuclear. FaZe went on to win the tournament, and it was here where Drazah had some choice words for Scrappy.
Like I said before too, I run that org. They haven't beat me in forever. And where's that dick rider Scrappy at? Is he already going home? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but
kickstarted some even more controversial tweets, with Scrap's girlfriend Darian exposing the infamous Excel spreadsheet that supposedly listed all of the pros that Keeks had tried it on with.
Jesus
Keeks
Christ,
then
man.
fired back, supposedly with proof that Darian was a so-called puck bunny back in Canada. Darian wasn't having any of this, then bringing Keeks and Drazah's child
this is getting bad.
into the conversation, and as you might expect, this did not end too well. Drazah fired back. Darian called him piano teeth. The COD scene has never seen the like.
Who cares? Hello? If you're gonna get personal with me,
not the money spread, man. But this is actually crazy. I forgot exactly the details of this, but yeah, it got pretty wild to say the least. Not the money spread. He said, man, I don't fucking care about none of that shit. I don't fucking care about none of that shit. I don't got no cash, so I can't do that. I got coins though.
hello?
The blue hundreds. Blue hundreds.
At least lock in the next event. Don't get top 4 like a shit stand. The one time he's ever talked to a top 4 team, he had 5 out of chance.
But this beef was far from over.
But someone then goes out of their way, right, to email someone's employer, right, and get their job taken from them. It wasn't Drazah that did it. I don't know if he knew that was like what she was doing or what. Emailed my girlfriend's brokerage to get her fired.
At the following major in Toronto, things allegedly almost got physical, according to Darian. Different sources either confirm or deny the validity of this hotel lobby confrontation, with Drazah claiming to the contrary with some choice words, and fired some more shots at Scrap. This time he claims that Scrap was taking testosterone to counteract his supposed physical weakness. You really could not make some of this stuff up. Absolutely.
Yeah, I forgot how crazy this thing got. I thought it was about to be kind of like not too bad, you know. Someone said something bad about someone, but they're bringing up everything. They have everything.
And this was arguably.
I remember you started doing this shit in 2014. You like they're bringing up everything. There's no off limits.
Far from over just yet. At the World Championship in Dallas, the league themselves decided to shed light on the situation.
This got a little bit crazier than I thought it did at the time.
FaZe and Ultra in the second round, the official broadcast did something which made the community erupt.
They're best friends, best friends. Yep.
Yo, this is actually the WWE.
Okay, yeah. So as we were talking,
This is actually the WWE. This is actually the WWE.
with Scrappy,
These storylines.
It is extended to loved ones. We just play Call of Duty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's more than Call of Duty. No,
It's a legendary moment, but it's still crazy.
Neither Darian nor Keeks had been informed that these events will unfold in this manner, but truly the WWE of esports. Ultra came out on top, and when it was time for the fist bumps, still no love lost between the pair. Even the off-season tournaments were the same story, and many have wondered whether it is ever possible for these two to fully resolve their beef. At the same time, Scrappy extended his head-to-head advantage over Drazah all time, but Drazah has been clawing it back so far in 2025. With Scrap now joining LA Thieves heading into 2025, forming a so-called super team, it was clear that both players have made it to the pinnacle of the esport. From starting out in the trenches to making finals appearances at the World Championship, Scrap and Drazah took a path that very few did. The controversial way, becoming villains and being hated by many. At Major 1 in 2025, it was FaZe who came out on top in the final, and once again, both players refused to show each other any respect.
I don't know what's good with him. Like, he's begging for a fist bump. I don't know if it's like so people can be on his side or something.
Yo, did we forget? I had to face LAT and FaZe 35% of my matches, bro. And people are just thinking like that's normal. If we didn't have to face LAT and FaZe 30, if we had to face them 25% regular, we're qualifying for champs easily. Like, give us some freebies. But no, LAT and FaZe every other day? I'm in LA, bro? No.
Like, bro, I had no respect for him.
I got scammed.
A little bit.
Colleague owes me fucking 20
He
gifted.
needs to give it up, bro. They're gonna be friends in like 5 years anyways. Might as well just start now.
FaZe also took Major 2, but Thieves bounced back spectacularly, winning Major 3.
I were the freebie? Hell no. For them I was, not for anyone else.
Again this season.
Actually, for Carolina Online, we were freebies. Wish we could have played them on LAN. Fuck.
Two incredibly talented players taking a similar
Wait,
path
this is
to stardom.
crazy.
Controversial and chaotic. Maybe in another universe they could have been.
It's
best
2-2
friends
right
in
now.
the
Wait, I'm
World
actually
Championship
invested. I'm
winning
invested
roster.
now.
The way this drama transpired, it's hard to imagine this rivalry
Wait.
will ever end. All signs point
This is getting
towards
good.
a clash of the ages, a COD champs and the esports world.
The armadillo. Yeah, no, that's actually crazy. They had that armadillo factory out in Kitchener. So that's where they first had armadillos, because they were, and someone brought it down because it was an invasive species to help deal with the different kind of insects around the area. That's why they brought the armadillos to
Whoever
Kitchener.
comes out on top will have the last laugh for now.